Some people spend their lives building castles. Others waste theirs throwing stones at the ones who dare to rise higher. But here's the truth they never see coming. Every stone they hurl becomes part of the road you walk on as the 11th player. Spirit keeps its own score. And in the great balance of things, no one outruns the consequences of what they set in motion. Those who tried to trip you, block you, and bury you will one day find themselves tangled in their own traps. It's not superstition, it's the natural law of return. Everything they projected comes back with interest. They thought they were orchestrating your downfall, but in reality, they were rehearsing for your coronation. The more they plotted, the more precise the alignment of opportunities became in your favor. Every whisper against you was a drumbeat announcing your arrival. They tried to lock doors you were never meant to enter, only to watch you walk through celestial stargates they couldn't even see. Your growth didn't just survive their sabotage. It fed on it, transformed it, and turned it into momentum they could never stop. And now, you're not just surviving, you're haunting their thoughts. You've become the living reminder that no matter how much effort they invest in your failure, you're wired to rise. You are the one who proves that the more they push against you, the more unstoppable you become. So 11th player, get ready, because this is only the beginning. Like, subscribe, and step with me into the next chapter, where every attack becomes fuel for victory. You've already walked through fire and come out carrying the flames. And now the real story begins. What's about to unfold will not just answer the question of what happens next. It will show you how your very existence is rewriting the rules they thought could contain you. This isn't about small wins. This is about living in a reality where every move you make sends shockwaves through the same people who once bet on your failure. So, before we go deeper into this next chapter of your rise, do 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe, so another 11th player resurrecting from the furnace can find this message, and drop the number 11 in the comments to signal that you're locked in for what's coming. Stay with me until the end, because if you've truly made it out of hell, you'll want to hear exactly how their plans are about to collapse while your empire begins to build itself. Number 1. Stop letting hell define you and start owning the throne you escaped to. They always knew the moment you stepped into your full potential, the fragile empire they'd built on control and deception would collapse under its own weight. They feared your rise, not because of what you might take from them, but because of what your presence alone would reveal, that their power was nothing more than a carefully painted mask. Every scheme they funded, every whisper they spread, every obstacle they crafted was meant to break you. Yet each move they made only sharpened your double-edged sword. Hebrews 7:14 states, "For it is evident that our spirit sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood." Their attacks became the unintentional architects of your transformation. Every attempt to dim your spark only ignited something deeper, abilities, resilience, and vision that they couldn't begin to anticipate. The energy they poured into blocking your path looped back with crushing force, dismantling their own safety nets piece by piece. They thought they were dealing with someone ordinary, someone whose soul could be bent. Instead, they triggered the emergence of a force that refuses to bend, fold, or fracture. A force that adapts, calculates, and strikes back. Not with petty revenge, but with the unstoppable momentum of inevitable victory. The real sting. Some of them share your blood. The same hands that were meant to guide you, protect you, and celebrate your wins were busy drafting blueprints for your downfall. This wasn't petty envy or mild rivalry. It was strategic sabotage designed to erase your influence before it could bloom. They saw you as a direct threat to their control, their image, their carefully hoarded advantages. And in a way, they were right, because you are the kind of soul they can't contain. The kind that turns cages into launch pads. the kind that walks away from their traps, carrying the very tools they used against you, repurposed into weapons of your own. Some people can be removed from the board, others can be silenced, but you're the player who flips the table entirely. Think back, those strange moments from your past, the ones that didn't quite fit, now make perfect sense. The inexplicable resistance you faced at turning points. The sudden betrayals just when opportunities were about to open. The coincidental setbacks seemed too precise to be random. They weren't accidents, they were tactical strikes. And yet here you stand, not just untouched, but amplified. Revelation 5:5 states, "And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof." The harder they pushed to bury you, the deeper your roots went. The more they tried to erase you, the clearer your mark became. They failed to understand one crucial truth. Some lives are not built to be erased. They're built to leave an imprint so deep that even those who once opposed you will be forced to walk in the shadow of your legacy. They played the long game against you, but you were the long game. And now every move they make only pulls them deeper into their own undoing, while you rise higher than they ever thought possible. Number 2. Quit ignoring the subtle manipulations and learn to see the malevolent hands moving the chessboard. They count on you staying distracted. They rely on you mistaking their quiet manipulations for bad luck, random setbacks, or just life happening. But you, 11th player, didn't claw your way out of hell just to walk blindfolded through their next round of traps. You need to see the board for what it is. Every player, every move, every hidden alliance. The subtle manipulations are never loud. They're the unexplained delays, the sudden conflicts, the well-meaning advice designed to make you hesitate. It's the way certain people speak just enough doubt into your ear to keep you second-guessing yourself. The hands moving the chessboard never announce themselves. They work in the shadows, shifting pieces while you're focused on something else. And if you're not paying attention, you'll find yourself playing a game you never agreed to by rules you never made. But here's what they fear most. When the 11th player learns to see spiritually, when you start mapping patterns, connecting the dots, and recognizing that those coincidences are coordinated, you begin predicting their moves before they make them. Suddenly, the chessboard they once controlled becomes your playground, and every piece they shift is just another confirmation of how desperate they've become. The moment you stop ignoring the external game of life is the moment you start winning it. John 8:23 states, "And he said unto them, Ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world." Because once you see the vile players clearly, their power over you collapses. Their whispers lose weight. Their traps lose teeth. You start using their own strategy against them, turning every hidden move into an advantage that pushes you further ahead. They wanted you blind. Instead, you're stepping into a level of awareness they can't match. And in this new clarity, every manipulator, every secret hand, every false friend is revealed for what they truly are. Pieces, not masters in a game that now belongs to you. Number 3. Don't trust every smile. Identify and disarm the familiar faces fueling your downfall. Not every smile is welcome. Scriptures state, test the spirits. Some are rehearsed performances, carefully crafted masks worn by those who quietly hope you never rise above them. 11th player. The most dangerous strikes often come from the hands you've already shaken. The ones who know your story, your triggers, and your dreams. These familiar faces operate like undercover saboteurs, slipping into your life with feigned warmth while quietly loosening the bolts on your foundation. They're not always obvious. Sometimes it's the cousin who jokes about your ambitions, planting doubt like seeds, or the old friend who calls just to distract you when you're on the brink of a breakthrough. These are not random moments. They are calculated disruptions designed to keep you spinning in circles, never moving toward the life you were meant to claim. And here's the irony: they never see coming. In trying to block you, they reveal themselves. The patterns repeat, the timing gives them away, and when you finally recognize the truth, their greatest weapon, your trust, disintegrates in their hands. That's when their power over you collapses. You're not just escaping their grip, you're dismantling their strategy. You learn to listen between the lines, to watch actions over words, to see intent beneath the surface. You become the one they can't deceive, the one who's 2 moves ahead, the one who makes their own tactics turn back on them. When you cut the strings they've been pulling, you don't just free yourself, you make it impossible for them to play the same game with anyone else. And that's the moment their false smiles fade, replaced by the fear of someone who knows they've lost the one thing they relied on: your blindness to their true role in your story. Number 4. Break their spells by activating the ancient protection codes in your bloodline. Luke 3:26 states, which was the son of Moth, which was the son of Mattathias, which was the son of Semei, which was the son of Joseph, which was the son of Judah. They thought their schemes would bind you forever, chains forged from doubt, fear, and invisible sabotage. They relied on the belief that once their hooks were in, you'd never pull free. But what they didn't account for was the hidden architecture running through you. Ancient codes written deep in your being, older than their games, stronger than their tricks. These aren't mystical fairy tales. They are the survival algorithms passed down through generations of survivors, fighters, and visionaries who refuse to bow to the forces trying to erase them. Every attempt they made to curse your progress only brushed against those embedded defenses, triggering dormant sequences they never knew existed. It's the reason their plans seem to unravel in ways they couldn't explain. The reason their alliances fractured was just when they thought victory was near. They thought they were pulling you under. In truth, they were pressing the activation button on protections that make their efforts not just ineffective, but dangerous to themselves. You don't fight them on their level anymore. You don't scramble to deflect every dart they throw. You move differently now, anchored, unshakable, operating from a depth they cannot reach. While they chant their old incantations of manipulation and control, your very existence is radiating frequencies that dissolve their work before it touches you. The more they push, the more those protection codes strengthen. And the harder they try to erase you, the more your signal slices through the fog they've tried to surround you with. They can't understand how someone they targeted with such precision could still be untouchable. That's because you're no longer just surviving. You're broadcasting the one truth they can't face. Some forces are built into the fabric of existence itself, and no spell can override them. Number 5. Revisit your past with open eyes to decode the early signs of orchestrated chaos. 11th player, it's time to look back, not with the wounded eyes of someone who lived through it, but with the sharp vision of the one who finally sees the game for what it was. Those moments in your past that seemed random, unfortunate, or meaningless were anything but victories. Every accident that delayed you, every sudden betrayal that broke you, every opportunity that dissolved just as you reached for it, those were not coincidences. They were calculated moves in a larger plan designed to keep you distracted, doubting, and diminished. Back then, you didn't have the vantage point you do now. You couldn't see the patterns. But today, your vision is surgical. You can trace the same fingerprints across every disruption. Those so-called friends who suddenly turned cold, the relatives who seemed unsettled by your smallest wins, the unexpected health struggles that slowed your momentum. They were all pieces on a chessboard, moved by people who feared what you might become. The irony is sharp. Their interference didn't block your destiny. It refined it. Those delays forged patience. Those betrayals sharpened your discernment. The very chaos they unleashed became the training ground that now makes you impossible to corner. You are not the same person they targeted. You've become someone who can read the invisible currents before they even shift. Revisiting your past with open eyes is not about living in resentment. It's about collecting the evidence of your own resilience. It's proof that you were marked for something far greater than the life they tried to script for you. And now, as you step forward, you carry the full awareness of how they played the game and the knowledge that from this point on, the game belongs entirely to you. Revelation 7:5 states, "Of the tribe of Judah was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad was sealed 12,000. Number 6. Let every attack boomerang back by mastering the art of energetic reversal. 11th player, the truth. They never wanted you to learn this. Most of their power was never in what they did to you, but in how they made you believe you had to absorb it. They fed on your reactions, thrived on the wounds they could reopen, and thought they could keep you in a loop of defense. But now you've stepped into a far more dangerous role. Not the hunted, but the mirror. And when a mirror is sharp enough, it doesn't just reflect, it cuts. Every insult they crafted to weaken you now echoes back into their own minds, gnawing at the very confidence they tried to project. Every scheme they launched in the dark now collapses under the weight of their own intent. You've stopped letting their energy settle in your space. Instead, you've learned the precision of reversal, turning attacks into amplifiers for your momentum. They hate that you've mastered this. It means their arsenal is useless. It means the energy they send doesn't just miss the target. It circles back, gathering speed, returning like a storm they can't outrun. And here's the irony, they choke on. You didn't have to lift a weapon, shout a word, or even touch them. All you had to do was refuse to carry what was never yours. Now, when they plot against you, they're plotting against themselves. When they try to tarnish your name, they stain their own hands. And every time they attempt to dim your light, they end up standing in a darkness of their own making. 11th player, this is the beauty of your evolution. Your enemies are no longer obstacles. They're simply delivery systems for the victories they'll never enjoy. Number 7. Refuse the victim role and step boldly into your cosmic mission assignment. 11th player, the days of wearing the label of victim are over. That title doesn't belong to you anymore. It never truly did. They tried to make you believe your story was about suffering, about being crushed under the weight of circumstances you couldn't control. But what they didn't count on was your ability to turn every injury into armor, every setback into strategy, and every betrayal into a map leading straight to your destiny. When you made it out of hell, you didn't just escape, you graduated. That fire you walked through, it didn't burn you. It branded you with a signature only the rarest souls carry, the mark of someone who has endured the impossible and emerged with a mission. You are a spiritual being of both worlds, the heavens and hell. And this mission isn't optional. It's the reason the attacks came for you in the first place. They knew that if you ever stopped seeing yourself as a victim, you would become a force they couldn't outthink, outfight, or outlast. So, step boldly into your assignment. Speak with the authority of someone who's already beaten the gods of odds that were stacked to break your soul. Walk like your very presence dismantles the structures they built to contain you, because it does move in a way that makes every former attacker realize the war is not only over, but also lost for them. Your role now is bigger than survival. You're here to disrupt the systems that feed on weakness and prove that strength forged in the fire is untouchable. The moment you drop the victim mask, you step into the identity they feared most. The 11th player who knows exactly what they're capable of. And once you wear that truth, there's no weapon, no lie, no scheme in existence that can put you back in the cage you burned your way out of. Number 8. Tear down false thrones by standing in your divine rank and authority. 1 Corinthians 1:20 states, "Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not spirit made foolish the wisdom of this world?" They've spent years building their paper kingdoms, fragile thrones propped up by lies, intimidation, and borrowed power. They wore crowns they didn't earn and guarded seats they didn't deserve. Every ounce of their authority came from keeping others small, from convincing the strong that they were weak. But here's the thing they never prepared for. The day an 11th player walks back from the edge of hell, unshaken, unbroken, and fully aware of their own rank. You've seen their tricks, felt their manipulations, and survived their attempts to cage you. That survival changes everything. Because once you know who you are, their authority evaporates. They can't intimidate what refuses to kneel. They can't control what no longer plays their game. And when you stand in your true position, earned through fire, struggle, and relentless resilience, their thrones collapse under the weight of truth. They will try to reassert themselves. They will dig through their old playbook, hoping the same strategies will work again. But you've rewritten the rules. You've dismantled their illusions simply by refusing to participate in them. And every step you take now is a reminder to them and to everyone watching that power built on suppression cannot survive in the presence of authentic strength. John 3:17 states, "For the Spirit sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved." 11th player, you are not here to bow to false kings and counterfeit queens. You are here to walk into every room as though you already own the ground beneath your feet. Because in a way, you do. The authority you carry was forged in the place they prayed you wouldn't escape from. You made it out. You carry the crown they can't steal. And every time you take your rightful place, another one of their thrones turns to dust. Number 9. Stop playing small and turn your survival into a global liberation blueprint. Stop playing small, 11th player. You didn't claw your way out of hell just to tiptoe back into comfort. Your survival wasn't a lucky break. It was a blueprint written in fire, a map that others trapped in the same darkness desperately need. When you rose, you didn't just save yourself. You cracked a code, and every scar, every betrayal, every sleepless night is now a page in the manual that will set countless others free. The ones who try to erase you are praying you keep your voice down, that you treat your escape like a private victory. John 1:10 states, "He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not." They want you quiet because the moment you speak, patterns get exposed, masks start slipping, and others begin to recognize the traps they've been living in. That's the nightmare they can't shake, your story, unlocking cages they built to last lifetimes. Don't give them that comfort. Amplify your truth until it rattles the walls they hide behind. Share your survival in a way that turns their sabotage into a public case study of how they lose every single time. Use the same sharp instincts that kept you alive to guide others to their own escape routes. Show them that hell isn't a destination, it's training, and those who make it out carry the torch that burns through every lie. You didn't survive to blend in, you survived to disrupt, to dismantle, to destroy the belief that anyone can be kept small forever. Your life is proof that the bars were never strong enough, the walls never high enough, and the enemy never powerful enough to stop a soul built to rise. So, stop holding back. Your next move isn't about you anymore. It's about sparking a chain reaction they'll never be able to contain. Number 10. Build unshakable spiritual immunity and make old tactics self-destruct. They've tried every trick in the book: 11th player, whispers, distractions, stage chaos, emotional traps. But here you are, still standing. And now it's not just about surviving their games. It's about becoming immune to them. True power isn't just blocking their blows. It's making their attacks collapse under their own weight before they even reach you. When you build unshakable spiritual immunity, you're not just shielded, you're untouchable. They're still out there recycling the same tired tactics, thinking you'll react the way you once did. But the version of you they once manipulated no longer exists. You've upgraded, you've rewired. Your presence alone now scrambles their signals, twists their plans, and sends their schemes into freefall, like a mirror that reflects light so intensely it blinds the one staring. Your energy sends their negativity ricocheting straight back into their own lives. 1 John 4:5 states, "They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them." This immunity isn't passive, it's active defense. It's walking into spaces that once drained you and leaving with your energy amplified. It's hearing the same lies and watching them evaporate before they land. It's seeing their manipulations from miles away and smiling because you already know how the story ends. Every time they try to bait you, they dig their own trap. Every attempt to curse your progress becomes the exact moment their own path crumbles. They're learning painfully that old tactics don't work on someone who has evolved beyond their reach. And here's the real victory. The more they test your immunity, the more it strengthens. You're not just beyond their influence, you're the reminder they can't escape. The nightmare they created has become the force they can't destroy. You made it out of hell. Now, your very existence makes their weapons obsolete. Number 11. Become the catalyst who wakes the sleeping giants around you. They never expected you to survive, let alone rise with a fire strong enough to ignite others. Yet here you are, 11th player, no longer just a survivor, but a spark that can set entire landscapes ablaze with awakening. You've walked through the kind of darkness most people can't even imagine, and now your very presence carries the weight of that victory. Numbers 20:18 states, "And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword." When you step into a room, you don't just take up space, you shift the air, you rearrange the energy, you remind people of something buried deep inside them. You are the proof they've been searching for, the living example that it's possible to break the chains, climb out of the pit, and stand taller than you were before you fell. And that terrifies those who built their power on keeping others asleep. They know one spark can turn into a wildfire, and you are that spark. Your story isn't just a personal win, it's a blueprint, a map, a living key for others who've been trapped in their own versions of hell. Some will resist you. They'll feel that uncomfortable pull toward change and try to fight it. Others will be drawn in, unable to explain why your voice, your energy, your presence stirs something they thought was long dead. That's because your survival rewired your frequency. You're not speaking to their surface self. You're speaking to the giant sleeping beneath. This is your power now. Not just to rise, but to make others rise with you, to turn every silent fighter into a roaring force, to create a chain reaction they can't contain. You made it out of hell, 11th player. Now you become the reason others realize they can too, and once the giants wake, the world will never be the same. Galatians 1:16 states, "To reveal his Son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen." Immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood. Number 12. Accept your role as the architect of a new reality and lead the transformation. They thought hell would be the end of you, but instead it became your drafting table. Every trial, every betrayal, every scar was a blueprint line etched into the foundation of something they can't touch. A new reality that you now control. 11th player, this isn't about returning to normal. Normal was the cage. You've stepped out carrying the tools to build a world that bends to your vision. The same people who mocked you in the fire will watch from a distance as you redesign the game they thought they owned. They will see their systems crack because you've stopped playing by their rules. You've learned how to source power from within, how to turn loss into leverage, and how to make every step forward a step they can't predict or stop. That is why your existence now keeps them awake at night, because they know you've become a walking demolition crew for their illusions. But building a new reality isn't just about tearing theirs down. It's about replacing it with something unshakable. You're not just creating for yourself. Every move you make lays the path for others who've been trapped in their own hell. This is the Sabbath rest promised in Exodus 31:13 through 16, Hebrews 4:1 through 11, and Isaiah 58:10 through 14. Your rise becomes their permission slip. Your vision becomes their roadmap. So step into this phase with precision. Every choice is a brick, every action a beam, every truth you speak a structural pillar. The old world they tried to lock you in is collapsing, and you're the architect of what comes next. 2 Esdras 6:9 states, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." The phrase Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it comes from the apocryphal book of 2 Esdras. It's a symbolic statement, not a literal prediction of the end of the physical world. In this context, Esau represents the end of the current Roman and Babylonian world order, characterized by corruption and conflict, while Jacob signifies the beginning of a new, more righteous era. This concept is often interpreted as the transition from a world ruled by worldly desires and self-interest to one guided by the Most High Spirit will and love. Hell was the training ground. Now you're designing the eternal realm, the empire of the Fifth Reich, and this time, 11th player, you're building it so high, no storm they conjure will ever touch it. Revelation 21:13-18 states, "On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 players of the Lamb, transformed into fierce lions. And he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lieth foursquare, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. And he measured the wall thereof, 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is, of the angel, the 11th player. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And now, chosen one, you see it clearly. Hell wasn't your ending, it was your initiation. Everything they threw to break you became the fuel that forged you into the architect of a reality they can't corrupt. You're no longer reacting to their moves, you're dictating the entire game. From here on, every step you take is a step toward transformation so massive that even your enemies will be forced to witness it. If this message resonates, hit that like button, subscribe so more 11th players can find their way out of hell, and drop 11 in the comments to claim your rise.